When everyone woke up to the headlines on Monday, they saw a whole bunch of dislocation, Lehman Brothers declaring bankruptcy, Merrill being taken over by B of A, concerns about AIG. And the initial question that most people asked, and that they were asking on NYTimes.com today, is, well, what happens to me, the everyday investor? What does it mean for my 401k, for my pension? What does it mean for my savings account? These are difficult questions to answer, but what we can take some comfort from is history. You know, these sorts of dislocations have happened before. And one of the things that's very difficult to predict is exactly how they will play out, when they will end, and where the bottom is. Some people might be tempted to, say, pull all of their money out of the stock market that's invested in equity mutual funds, in their 401k accounts or other similar accounts. Or they might be tempted to stop making any investments in their 401k at all. But that's a very complicated thing to try and predict in terms of figuring out when's the right time to get out, and then of course when's the right time to get back in again. There's a lot of professionals who are going out of business right now because they were not able to make those very same predictions. For those of us who are everyday investors looking at the long term, it makes more sense to just continue to invest and hope that eventually the markets reach a bottom and that they'll bounce back up again, as they always have and that they probably will in the future. Now, that said, for folks who are shorter term investors, say if you're saving for a down payment on a house, it generally makes sense to have money like that in cash or a money market account where it'll be safer. The difficult question right now is what people on the brink of retirement ought to do. It's a terrible thing to have happen, to see the markets go down 20% when you're at the age of 65 and getting ready to sort of go out on your pleasure craft. Those folks are in the toughest spot of all right now, and for some of those people it may mean working a few extra years, or it may mean sort of cutting back on their spending initially in the hopes that at least the part of their portfolio that's still invested in the stock market will do a little bit better come 3 to 5 years from now, and that'll allow them to spend a little bit more in their golden years. I'm Ron Lieber, the Your Money columnist for the New York Times.